The 12 steps is a spiritual journey. The 12 steps is about getting to know a higher power. The people who wrote the steps understood that we had selfishness as the root of our problems, and because of that selfishness, we needed a spiritual answer to our disease. And so it's more about spirituality and a certain way of living and a certain lifestyle than it's about not using alcohol or drugs. It only mentions alcohol, drugs, or some sort of deviant behavior once, okay? And then the other 11 steps talks about a spiritual path. So it's not just about overcoming something, it's about becoming a certain kind of person. And one of the things that the 12 steps assumes is that we will be connected with a higher power and actually pray to that higher power. Actually pray. And so the step 7 says, humbly ask him to remove our shortcomings. Now you can call it prayer, you can call it talking, you can simply say you ask him, but we humbly ask God to remove our shortcomings. Now I don't believe it's about having long fancy words. You know, I come from a religious background where I prayed, I could pray for a whole hour, and I would pray, Lord, thou art the greatest, sovereign, most merciful God, the God who rules the universe, reached back into nowhere, grabbed a hold of nothing and threw out everything. Oh, thou art God. And when I prayed like that, it seemed like I just kept on using and I just kept on being addicted. Actually, after I went to a couple of meetings, I heard a man say that he get up in the morning and he says, God, help me not to drink today. And at night he said, God, thank you. And he was able to stop drinking with that simple prayer. As a matter of fact, when I think about another big book, when they asked one master to teach them how to pray, and many of us still say that prayer at the end of our meetings, he said, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. A prayer that you could say in the span of about 1 minute. It was not a long prayer. It was a simple prayer, and it reached the point of what the master wanted to say. He said, pray in this manner. Well, here we have a way that the big book is telling us to pray. It says, pray humbly. Pray humbly. In other words, recognize that you're approaching a power greater than yourself and pray humbly. Again, humility to me means accepting the truth about yourself, accepting the really real, the reality, and not demanding of God to do anything, but humbly asking God to remove our shortcomings. This is a prayer. This is a step that involves prayer. It involves thinking. It involves humility. It involves us coming to our higher power. Once again, asking him to remove our shortcomings. Somebody said our shortcomings are the things that we do. I'm not so sure that it's just the things that we do. It's probably some of the things that we think. Our shortcomings are some of our, I believe, character defects also. Those are our shortcomings. And again, by reason of the fact that I am a human being, that means that I have some limitations. I have some shortcomings. I do fall short, and so do you. And so what we're doing is asking our higher power again to remove our shortcomings. So in a very humble way, I think this is an action step. It's telling us to take the action of prayer, to ask God to remove those shortcomings, those things that we do that are causing us trouble and are causing other people trouble, and that are really not in line with the kind of person that we want to be and that we need to be. We have a purpose for our life. We have a certain way that we want to be, and I believe it's in line. For instance, some of us have the shortcoming of, let's say, just being depressed. Now, of course, some people have a chemical imbalance and some people need medication, but even with that, some of us have a habit of just thinking in depressive ways, a habit of thinking in such a way that it causes our depression to linger on, and we might even like thinking that way. Well, here we come to ask our higher power to remove our shortcoming, to remove the fact that we have that habit, and to help us to develop better habits. Ask our higher power to remove our shortcomings. Now, one of the things about step 7, as it says that we will humbly ask our higher power to remove our shortcoming, means that we'll leave the timing up to our higher power. And again, we're dealing with that tension where I said we're in partnership with our higher power. Easy does it, but do it. I have my part that I need to do. But at the same time, I'm humbly asking him to remove a shortcoming, so it's in his timing. I'm dependent and relying upon my higher power, my God, to remove my shortcoming. I'm not demanding that he remove it right now, poof, and it be gone. I can't do that. I'm humbly asking him to remove my shortcomings. And the shortcoming itself may be the thing that drags me back to him even more often, that causes me to be in conversation, to be in meditation, to be in a place of reliance upon the higher power. So just this prayer itself shows my reliance upon the higher power, and it's something that I think I may continually do on a continual basis as we move up to other steps. Just praying and being in conversation with my higher power, asking my higher power to remove my shortcoming, shows that I can't remove it, and I'm relying, not demanding, but relying upon the higher power to do it.